Hello guys, welcome to the channel, and today I'm going to make a deck profile of the Dogmatika Invoked that I took to South Island Championship this weekend, and I ended up making 501, going first in Swiss, technically undefeated, but as always I ended up losing on top 8, unfortunately. So I'm going to make the deck profile the deck that I played today, and a tournament report as well. The first shout out that I want to make is to William Jonty Hall. This deck is 99%, 90% his, so he deserves the biggest shout outs and the first shout out. The second one is Team Dice Jar. I'm the new member of their channel and their team, so that's very big for me. And third shout outs for people who helped me to playtest, from the team Dice Jar, and people from Brazil such as Disciples of Rage and other friends such as Vitor and Caruso. So let's get into the deck profile. We'll start with Max Aleister engine, so 1 terraforming, 3 meltdown, and 3 Aleister. Nothing to say. You just want to see every hand, and we play also 2 invocation. I thought about playing 3, but this deck doesn't have as many summons as other Aleister decks do have, so getting into the Aleister link is kind of hard with this deck, which is what you need to activate invocation. So, and if you're going to invoke the player, you always draw invocation when Aleister gets his hand trapped. So, and we play as well um the technically max out Dogmatika engine. I'm not playing Maximus, as you can see, because Maximus opens you to get hate when you shouldn't be, when technically you shouldn't be getting hated, because people will just send Nova and Entis to force out my Mechaba, or Omega and what's the name of them? Entis, so they force my Mechaba and get a shuffle back for free, which is something that I don't like, especially when they can shuffle back uh, cards that the only light that I have in graves, and they don't play any lights or things like that, so I can't make Mechaba really well. And Two Fleur de Lis is technically standard. I really like. I didn't like this card too much, but you have to play 2 in the main deck, in my opinion. At least Punishment's one of the best cards of this deck, even though it locks you from special summon from the extra deck. You just start to grind with the Dogmatika cards, and from that you just win. And this was the Dragon and the Invoked engine. For hand traps, I'm playing Free Ash, Free Gamma, the Brick, Free Imperm, 3 Nibiru, and 1 Ogre. So in total, I'm playing 13 hand traps. This does not count as a hand trap, by the way. So I play 13 hand traps because mathematically speaking is one of the best number to have. If you want to play, if you want to have 2 in your hand most of the time, the minimum number is 13. And because I'm not playing combo nor a full control deck, I felt that I had to sit at least 2 hand traps every hand in case I play against combo. But as you're going to see in my tournament report, I didn't play against much combo, so but it was still really good. If the one off ogre saved me a lot when I needed it, so it was really good. I wouldn't change. If I would change something, I probably would cut the gammas, but gammas really good anyway, so probably will keep, probably will cut. I'm not 100% sure yet. But and consistency cards, we play 3 desires, 3 tactical talents, and 2 call and 1 call. Sorry. Desires consistency. This card is a blowout. It can either help you with consistency by drawing cards. You can shuffle back 1 card from their hand, which happened during round 1. I got drawed on desires, and then I played against dinosaur, so I just TTT, see your hand. It was a dino. He opened baby Gamma, and I don't remember what the other two cards were. What's the name of it? The level 1 dinosaur that you bring off Misk. So I just shuffle back that one, and he bricked for a bit for like 1-2 turns. And Cobble the Grave is just really good overall. Stops hand traps, or you can use offensively when you draw it and set it. So no complaints about the main deck at all. The main deck was really good. Nothing to say. Going to the extra deck, I am playing Chumekaba. Nothing to say. One Purgatrio, this card just is a killing machine. This card is also technically a killing machine and pops monsters when your opponent summons and on its own summon, which when you have Meltdown, your opponent can't respond, which is really good. And the effect to gain attack is very relevant, because that's one of the best ways to run over monsters that you can't really out with your engine, that you have to run over, so you just make an Algoides that is insanely big and run over it. Then going to the cards that I send of the Dragma cards, 1/5 headed. This is the card that I can send of the trap to all monsters that are very, very big. And like Conductor, Gearfried. Once I actually had, not in the tournament, but before playtesting, I actually sent this of Nadir when I had an Algoides on board. So I just banished it to make Algoides 7k, and I killed because I had a 7k monster and I just decked for game. Titanic Lad, this just one is enough. Entis. I'm playing just one because space, but I never really missed Entis at all, so one was enough most of the time. No complaints. One Wind Pegasus, when you don't have anything to send, if you don't want to send Titanic Lad because you already have a lot of Dragma cards and you don't want to search anything, because your hand will just be clogged of Dragma cards, you can send this. And people don't play around this, they just see it and they just let it there. And then when you trigger it, people get very confused, or they see that they misplay so hard. Actually, I even crashed a monster onto my opponent's Tyranno. It was a driver. I crashed on Tyranno just so I could activate Pegasus and shuffle back the Tyranno on round 5. And then I played Omega. Omega is another target to send. It's 28, so can out a lot of cards as well. And it's also for a game. I can just punish my opponent for being bad and hand trapping me when I have no monsters. So I will just banish one from the hand. That's -2 cards, and I will most of the time have about 3 interactions that will have to play. So they will have technically to play through 3 interactions with 4 cards in hand, which most of the decks won't be able to play through. One over because I was expecting a lot of Dragma dot decks, and that was true, but none of them activated Maximus against me because I either hand trapped them or I started, and starting they saw I was playing Invoked and Dragma, so they didn't send anything, and it was just that most of the time, but it was still really good in case they dump, they start, they go for Maximus combo, they dump, I just hard punish them for playing bad cards. For links, I play 1 Lambda. Didn't summon this tournament, but overall it's a really good card. Because you can, if you have like Fleur de Lis in hand and you just keep, and your opponent doesn't summon anything from the extra deck, you can link away 2 Ecclesias into this, and then you summon Fleur, and if you already have 2 Ecclesias on board, you most like this will do 47 damage, which most likely will kill your opponent. So, and if you have like 3 Ecclesias, you have a third, and you link for this, and then you summon, and then you search, and you just kill people, because that's most likely going to kill them if he'll have already 2 eclipses on board. One laser. I think he came up today. It was really good. I think I cleared a token with it. The token from the Lost World with it, so it was really good. One Phoenix outs back row, forces back row was really relevant because also on the first match that I played, I was afraid that my opponent had a hand trap set because he summoned Conductor, and from that he was break. So I was afraid to attack into a hand trap that was 1800 attack or anything like that, defense. Sorry. So I just made Phoenix and just kept poking with 19. It was quite good. And if you're playing an laser deck, you should be playing this. So nothing to say. Those are the tokens that I used. Going to the side deck, I'm playing 2 Drawn Lockbird, 2 Schoolmeister, 2 Lancet, and 1 Ogre. I'm playing 2 because most of those hand traps, they overlap over their matchups. So instead of, for example, reducing the cards that I can play in my side deck for certain matchups, for example, if I play Freelancer, I wouldn't be able to play. I would have to play then Free Draw and probably wouldn't have space for Schoolmeister. And most of those cards will overlap and set deck spaces as well. I usually side cards 2x2s, so because of the ratios that I play. So, and most of the cards will overlap the matchups as well. And Schoolmeister was great. Caught a lot of people out of guard. Lances a staple, draws a staple. Ogre was just really good to side in for matches where Ogre is good, and I kind of had to side out more cards for. So it was really good. I hate to deal with Dragon, so I just play 2 other cards that help me to out Dragon easily. Droplets. Round 4 against Prankids, it came up because my opponent had mine and had a Mechba. They normal summoned a Prankids if we were under set rotation. So I on summon activate Droplets, send Mechaba, negate the guy, and he was under mine. So at any time that I wanted, I could just start to play when I want. And I ended up winning because of Droplets. So it was really good. Then we play some. Pranker Drops is good for any matchup really. When I go second, and back row hate as well. I don't like to play against back rows, so this should be Lightning Storm, even though I didn't set this in during the event. I think this card should have been Lightning Storm because it just it can help to break some boards when I'm playing when I play some against some kind of combo. Going over my matchups, my round 1 was against Dinosaur, Pure Dinosaur, which I won. I was 2-1. I won game 1. He won game 2. I won game 3. And he was the guy that won the tournament overall. So congrats for him. Second round was Prankids. It was quite an easy 2-0 to be honest. Then round 3 was another True King Dino. That match took more than it should, and it was like quite skillful in my part to play it because my hands were not great, but they were not bad as well. I mean, I drew 2 gammas when I had a banished driver of desires, and I had a Nibiru hand, which ended up triggering, and that kind of won me the game. Sorry. And then round 4, I played against another Prankids, which the droplets came up. I won that one as well. And then round 5, I played against Dogmatika Dinosaur, which was a very interesting matchup because he almost killed me, but because he activated Flare, I was able to ogre it, and he didn't kill me. And then I tried to kill him, but he gammed my Alastair during damage step, so I couldn't kill him, and then he just killed me the way back. And game 2 we just grinded, and that was a match where I crashed my driver to trigger the Wind Pegasus. And then round 6, the last round of Swiss, was against Virtual World. um Game 1 my hand was very average below, and the guy had a insanely big token like 10k in attack, 12k defense, and I just died. Game 2 we kind of grinded a bit, but I ended up winning with resource advantage, and I think he kind of bricked a little bit as well. And game 3 I OTK'd him. And then on top 4 I played top 8, sorry, I played against that same Virtual World. um So I ended up getting too old because game 1 I kind of did a misplay. He activated the Lulu. I think it was Lulu in hand, which I kind of had to negate with Mekaba because the card's so good, but he had Gamma to negate the Mekaba, so nothing that I could really do there. Um, and then game 2 we just started to grind, and he ended up winning because I didn't get many resources. And thanks for watching.